Adam, we'll start with your fitness, where you are in terms of the injury. It's obviously been a frustrating time, but back in or about to start training?
Yeah, obviously very frustrated to pick up the injury at a time when we were doing really well, and I felt like I was playing really well as well. But yeah, not far away now. Really stepped up the rehab over the last sort of 10 days. It took a while for it to improve, and then all of a sudden it just sort of clicked, and yeah, feeling much better now.
It must have been a bit frustrating on that initial diagnosis to find that it has taken a little bit longer than perhaps you first thought.
Like you say, at first I didn't think it was too bad. Obviously I tried to play on and I couldn't put any weight through it really, so obviously it came off. It was sore, but it wasn't. I've done my ankle before, and it's felt a lot worse before, and it didn't balloon up massively, so I was pretty hopeful. So were the physios. Yeah, it was a bit of a frustrating moment in the season for me, to be honest, but yeah, as soon as that happens you've just got to get on with it and try and get back as quick as possible and do everything right that you can.
When it did happen, would you say you're perhaps in your best vein of form since you've come here even?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think after the restart I feel like since then I've been playing pretty well, and I've settled in. I've said it before, I think the lockdown came at a good time for me and for the club as a whole. Just as a club in general, I think we were struggling. Obviously we hadn't won for a while. Obviously the pressure was high because we were in a fight again, and I think it just gave us a chance as a whole club and everyone to just sort of switch off from everything that was going on. Yeah, take a break, take a step back from everything, and we all did that. And in that period we all worked extremely hard every day, and when we came back to training before the restart we were all super fit and raring to go, and you obviously saw that in the Arsenal game when we came back, and we obviously nicked it at the end, and that's credit to everyone for how hard they worked in that period off. But yeah, I'd say it gave me a chance to just take a break. Probably wasn't that high on confidence before the break, and then all of a sudden you've had a break and you feel really good. I was feeling really good in training, and feel like I've taken that into my game since that period really.
Having gone through that experience last season in the Premier League, did that help going into 2021?
Yeah, I think so. I think it definitely helps with the experience that you've gone through it before. We've demanded a lot from each other. We had a meeting as players and just said, look, we need to demand more from each other and in training and everyday situations. And ever since we sort of did that, we've not looked back. You know, like you say, the performance has been really good throughout the whole season. But then the results started to come and started to pick up wins and more points, and I think it was just a case of sticking to what we believed in and what we were doing, and eventually it will turn, and that definitely did happen. You're always going to go through times in the season where things won't go so well and you're going to have sticky patches. It's just about how you bounce back from them, and as a club, from the manager down, you know, he believes in all of us and gives us the best chance to go and get the result every week, and yeah, like I say, like just believing in what we're trying to achieve.
Another big week. The week I think you played Tottenham on the Sunday, Liverpool in the midweek, Burnley on the Saturday, took 7 points. What was that like, that whole week?
Yeah, it was a great week for us. I remember we were at the pre-match for the Spurs game, and obviously because of COVID you can only sit like 3 or 4 around the table, and we said, yeah, like fancy it tonight, and obviously we beat Spurs, and obviously this year the leagues are slightly different. You know, you can go to the champions and you can get a result. At the time, I think Burnley just beat them 1-0. You know, Burnley are a very different team to us, but the fact that they went there and won, the league is different this season. Obviously Liverpool are without some of their star players, and that obviously helps. But yeah, at the time we've obviously gone there and won, and since then a few more teams have done it, so it almost doesn't look as good. But no, it was a massive win. Such a great night. You know, we definitely deserved to win. And then bittersweet. Obviously, I came off against Burnley, but another big point for us, because probably we can't say it too often this year, but probably Burnley were the better team. You know, they probably feel like they should have won the game, but the fact that we dug in and got the point, and like you say, 7 points out of the 9, everyone would have snapped your hand off for that before the week. So another big week for us in this season, and that gives you great belief going into other games, and you know you can go away to Anfield and get 3 points.
Robert Sanchez was in goal at that point. What's he been like to play in front of? I think certainly there were moments in those games where he was coming and taking crosses, and that's great to have the goalkeeper playing in such a sort of positive front foot fashion. Yeah,
it's massive. Against Liverpool, I think it was in the 93rd minute, he came and got the cross from the corner, and as a defender and as a team, it just takes so much pressure off you. And I think you see on the video when he took the cross, because he came over the top of me, and I was like, how's he got that? And I looked down and he's still got the ball. And the celebrations from all of us, we were all absolutely buzzing that he'd done that, and knew that we wouldn't be far away from the final whistle then. But yeah, it's huge. He's been brilliant since he come in. He's super chilled out. He's proper laid back. Sometimes you have to give him a little reminder that he can't be too laid back, because you know sometimes he's, like I say, sometimes he is very chilled. But no, he's been absolutely fantastic, and he's got a great career ahead of him.
I want to pick up on something happened in the England game against Poland. John Stones, hearing Harry Maguire speak, and he spoke about how Gareth Southgate wants them to play with England, play out from the back, be brave on the ball. Is that now a defender's part of the makeup, if you like, part of the job?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the way the game's changing. Don't get me wrong, there's still plenty of teams that obviously don't encourage that and don't want to be doing that. But yeah, that's the way the game's evolving. Obviously we like to do it here. The gaffer gives us, you know, all the confidence in the world to do it. But it is a case of, you know, knowing when to do it, and sometimes you have got to just, you know, squeeze up or put your foot through it, and that only comes with more experience. Yeah, I think you've got to accept that it might happen at some stage in the season, and yeah, like I say, it's probably the way that the game's going now, and a lot more teams are trying to play out from the back, and I think probably in 10 years from now everyone will be doing it.
How proud are you though, having done that this season, but of the club's defensive record, because it's up there amongst the best in the Premier League?
Even at the start of the season, we had a meeting and with just the defenders and the keepers, where the coaches showed us like the stats from the games, and you know we probably conceded a lot of goals at the start of the season, perhaps unlucky at times because the actual stats didn't warrant that, and they were very good, and that's stayed consistent throughout the whole season really, which is pleasing. We don't give teams too many opportunities in terms of expected goals and things like that. So yeah, to be able to say that and obviously play the way that we play, you know, everyone enjoys the way that we play. Everyone in this squad wants, you know, everyone loves playing football that way, and that's full credit to the gaffer for setting us up like that.
You're actually very vocal on the pitch. Do you see yourself as a leader type, as a almost future captain maybe?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's been one positive from having no crowd. You know, like you say, when there's crowd, you can't hear the person 5 yards away from you, let alone 50. Whereas now you can use that to your advantage, and if you need to tell the striker something or communicate, it does does make things a lot easier. And yeah, I feel like that's a strong part of my game, something I've worked on quite a lot over the last 2 or 3 years, I'd say, and being more comfortable with it. Definitely something that I'd want to do in the future. But yeah, I feel like I've always done it, you know, even from like a kid, and And then sort of when you going into first team environment and there's more senior players, you maybe take a step back. But now I feel like we've got quite a young squad still, so I feel like I'm one of the more senior, and I feel like I can help other players, and more so just using it to my advantage when there's no crowd. Got to make the most of it where we can, because as soon as there's crowd back, you won't be able to hear a thing, and that can be tricky.
That period without the fans, was there perhaps, against all the sort of negative side of not having the fans in the ground, was there perhaps one little positive that perhaps allowed you as a team to go and put into place what Graham Potter wants you to do?
Yeah, I think so. I think sometimes, obviously, the fans want the ball forward, and they want to see exciting football.
Want goals.
And goals, of course. I think sometimes it's allowed us to stay a bit more patient in terms of the way we want to build up and open up teams. So yeah, it probably has helped us evolve a little bit in that way. But yeah, everyone is dying for the fans to get back. It's mad now when you see maybe like an old game and there's like a full stadium. It just looks weird, doesn't it? As players, we'll have to adapt. Obviously, when the fans do come back in, we're professionals, so we have to show. If the fans are being a bit impatient or whatever, then we've got to deal with it and stick to our beliefs and just do what we have to do to try and win the game.
And I guess when you're in those games where you're 1-0 up, defending a lead, that's where the crowd really do help you.
Yeah, I think we've probably missed that a lot, to be honest, because it's not a good stat, but I keep seeing it when I'm watching games on TV that we've dropped a lot of points this season from winning positions. Now there doesn't seem to be real advantage with being at home. You see it across the whole league. So if you've got 30,000 Brighton fans there, and you're 1-0 up, you're probably going to see out the game maybe a bit differently, and it will definitely help us have that home advantage. So I think that's something that we're all looking forward to having back.